Picture this for a moment. The sun rises over Kyoto, painting temple roofs in soft gold. A few thousand miles away, in Beijing, red lanterns sway gently in the morning breeze. In Delhi, a bride adjusts her bright red sari, while in Bangkok, vendors tie red ribbons around their stalls for luck. Different countries, different languages, different beliefs, yet one color unites them all, and that is red. Have you ever wondered why? Why red dominates every Asian celebration, festival, and ritual? Why it waves proudly on flags, glows in lanterns, and wraps around newlyweds like a blessing? It's because red isn't just a color in Asia. It's emotion, it's faith, it's identity. It's the color that tells you everything about life, love, power, and destiny. And once you understand what red means in Asia, you begin to see how one color can shape an entire civilization. So today, let's uncover why red is the most powerful color in Asia, why it carries centuries of meaning, emotion, and mystery in every shade. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The color that rules Asia. When you walk through an Asian city, red follows you everywhere. It's in the paper lanterns that glow at night, the banners that flutter outside stores, and the ribbons tied to door handles to invite good fortune. For millions across the continent, red isn't just something to wear or decorate with, it's something you believe in. In Asia, red represents life itself. It's the heartbeat that flows through every culture, the symbol of joy and renewal. Red doors welcome luck into homes. Red strings ward off evil. Red envelopes carry blessings and love from one generation to the next. And during festivals, the air itself seems to shimmer with it, streets draped in crimson, fireworks painting the sky, and families sharing food beneath the warm glow of red lanterns. But red's story runs much deeper than tradition or decoration. Long before cities rose and nations formed, ancient Asian societies saw color as part of the universe's rhythm. Each color was tied to an element, a direction, and a force of nature. And red, bright, fierce, and alive, was tied to fire. Fire gave warmth, light, and protection. It cooked food, lit the night, and kept evil away. So red became more than a symbol, it became a guardian of life itself. In China, red means happiness and success. In Japan, it means purity and protection. In India, it means love and sacred energy. And though the meanings differ, they all point to one truth. Red connects humanity to what truly matters: vitality, faith, and unity. Even in today's world of concrete and screens, red continues to thrive. From silk garments to smartphone screens, from temple altars to corporate logos, red remains the color that speaks the loudest without saying a word. It's bold but comforting, strong but warm, a color that both calms and commands. And that's why, no matter how much time passes, red will always rule Asia, because it rules the human heart first. Chapter 2. Red and the Rhythm of Life. If you've ever been to an Asian festival, you'll know that red isn't just seen, it's felt. It dances in the air, hums through the crowd, and burns in lanterns that float into the night sky. There's something about it that stirs the heart, a rhythm that connects millions of people to a shared sense of joy and belonging. In Asia, red isn't reserved for special occasions, it's woven into everyday life. It's in the morning sun that peeks over temple rooftops. It's in the lacquered bowls that hold family meals. It's even in the thread tied around a baby's wrist, meant to keep evil away. Red, in all its shades from deep crimson to bright scarlet, has a pulse of its own. It's a living color. In many Asian cultures, people believe colors carry energy, and red carries life. It's the color of the heart, the color of the blood that flows through all of us. To wear red, to decorate with red, or even to gift red, is to share vitality and strength. That's why, across Asia, you'll often see homes painted with red doors. They're not just decorative, they're a way of saying, "Good fortune, come inside." When a child is born, families often celebrate with something red, a blanket, a charm, a tiny piece of jewelry. When someone gets married, red marks the beginning of a new journey, And during festivals like the Chinese Lunar New Year, red fills the streets. Red banners flutter in the wind, firecrackers burst with fiery sparks, and red envelopes filled with money are exchanged as blessings. Everywhere you look, it's as if the world is dressed in optimism. But red isn't just joyful, it's emotional. It carries a depth that other colors can't quite match. It can mean passion, courage, or even defiance. When someone wears red, they're making a statement, not just of beauty but of intention. In ancient times, red dye was rare and precious. It came from natural sources like safflowers, minerals, or crushed insects, making it valuable enough to symbolize status and importance. To wear red meant you had strength, wealth, and influence. Yet, beyond wealth or beauty, there's another reason red became so essential. It symbolizes balance between the physical and the spiritual. In traditional Asian philosophy, particularly in Taoism and Buddhism, red is connected to fire, the element that represents transformation. Fire gives light, but can also destroy. It creates warmth, but demands respect. In that way, red teaches a lesson. Life is energy, but energy must be honored. Maybe that's why red continues to feel timeless. Whether it's glowing from a shrine candle or flashing on a city billboard, red reminds us of life's movement, its rhythm, its heat, and its heart. It's the color that refuses to fade, because life itself refuses to stop. And so, from the festivals that celebrate abundance to the quiet moments of prayer, red beats like a steady drum across Asia, a rhythm of hope, courage, and continuity. Chapter 3. The Ancient Origins of Red's Power. To truly understand why red holds such a powerful place in Asia, we have to travel far back to a time when color itself was sacred, when pigments weren't just decoration, but a language spoken between humans and the divine. In ancient Asia, red was the first color people learned to make. It came from the earth-ground minerals like cinnabar, ochre, and hematite. These natural reds were mixed with oils, plants, and even animal extracts to create a vivid, lasting hue. But red wasn't just used because it was beautiful, it was alive. Ancient people believed red carried a protective force. It stood between light and darkness, life and death. In prehistoric cave paintings across China, red pigments were used to draw animals, hunters, and symbols of fertility. Early societies saw red as a link to survival. It was the color of blood, the ultimate proof of life. When blood flowed, so did energy, courage, and sacrifice. So red became more than a color. It was the lifeline between the human and the spiritual. In early Chinese dynasties, red began to take on cosmic meaning. The five elements theory, which shaped much of ancient Chinese thought, associated red with fire, one of the five great forces that govern the universe. Fire was transformation. It turned raw metal to tools, grain to food, and night to day. It symbolized progress, passion, and movement. Thus, red became the color of yang, the active, creative, masculine energy that fuels life. Meanwhile, in India, red took root in the sacred Vedic traditions. It was tied to Agni, the god of fire, who carried prayers from humans to the heavens. Fire, and by extension red, was seen as purifying, burning away evil, and preparing the soul for rebirth. Brides wore red saris to symbolize fertility and divine blessing, while temples were decorated in red powders like vermilion to honor the gods. In these cultures, red was never merely decoration, it was devotion. Across Asia, from Persia to the Japanese archipelago, red's meaning intertwined with both religion and royalty. In ancient Persia, red dye from the madder plant was so prized it was traded along the Silk Road, its value rivaling gold. In Japan, red was used in Shinto shrines and samurai armor, symbols of strength and purification. Even in Buddhist traditions, red represents life force and sacred energy, a color that protects and empowers. Over centuries, red became embedded in rituals, architecture, and belief systems. Palaces were painted red to invoke prosperity and divine favor. Warriors wore red to embody courage. Monks used red in mandalas to represent the sacred flame of wisdom. The color evolved from pigment to power, from something seen to something felt. What's fascinating is how these ancient beliefs still echo today. When someone lights a red candle at a shrine or wears a red dress at a festival, they're not just following tradition, they're carrying forward thousands of years of human understanding about energy, emotion, and the sacred cycle of life. Red, in its deepest sense, connects us to what it means to be alive. It's the spark that kept ancient hearts hopeful and continues to remind modern Asia of its shared heartbeat, a pulse that began long before history was written. Chapter 4. China. Red is prosperity, luck, and authority. When it comes to the color red, no country embodies its power quite like China. Here, red is more than color, it's identity. It flows through every aspect of life, from festivals and politics to architecture and family celebrations. For the Chinese, red isn't just lucky, it's essential. If you've ever been to China during Lunar New Year, you've seen it. Streets are awash in crimson banners. Red lanterns hang from every doorway, glowing softly as the night falls. Children run around with red envelopes hongbao filled with money and blessings from their elders. Even the smallest alleyways shimmer with that unmistakable hue. It's a celebration not just of a new year, but of hope renewed. Red in China has always symbolized prosperity, happiness, and good fortune. It's the color that chases away darkness and invites abundance. But this belief didn't appear overnight. It's rooted in ancient mythology and philosophy. Thousands of years ago, the Chinese associated colors with natural elements and directions. Red represented fire, and the south, a place of warmth, energy, and growth. To live under the red sun meant to live in harmony with life itself. One of China's oldest legends, about the monster Nian, tells us why red became the color of protection. According to the story, Nian would attack villages every New Year's Eve, devouring crops and livestock. But villagers discovered the beast feared loud noises, fire, and the color red. They began hanging red banners, lighting firecrackers, and wearing red clothes to ward it off. Over centuries, these rituals became the foundation of China's most famous celebration, the Lunar New Year. Even today, the color red is said to scare away bad luck and attract blessings for the year ahead. In Imperial China, red was also a mark of power. Palaces, city gates, and official seals were painted in shades of deep red to signify authority. The famous Forbidden City in Beijing, home to emperors for nearly 500 years, is a sea of red walls and golden roofs, a visual symbol of wealth and divine favor. Red was not merely decoration, it was a declaration of destiny. The emperor, believed to be the son of heaven, ruled under the mandate of heaven, and red was his cosmic armor. But red didn't belong only to rulers. It belonged to the people too. In weddings, brides wore bright red dresses, and veils, a tradition still alive today to ensure happiness and fertility. Red paper cuttings decorated homes to bless the newlyweds with luck and harmony. Even funerals avoided red, because its energy was so full of life that it was believed to disturb the dead. In modern China, red remains just as powerful, perhaps even more so. It's the color of the national flag, symbolizing revolution, unity, and strength. The red star and red banner of the People's Republic represent the collective will of the people. In business, red logos signal success and prosperity. In everyday life, digital red envelopes sent via apps like WeChat carry on ancient customs in a new form. To be surrounded by red in China is to feel both past and present breathing together. It's the heartbeat of a nation fiery, proud, and deeply human. From dynasties to digital screens, red continues to tell the same story, that happiness must be shared, luck must be welcomed, and hope must always burn bright. Chapter 5. Japan. Red is purity, protection, and passion. In Japan, red carries a quiet, almost spiritual power. It's not loud or aggressive, it's graceful, intentional, and deeply symbolic. While in China, red often bursts with energy and luck. In Japan, it breathes calm strength, balance, and purity. To the Japanese, red isn't just about fortune, it's about connection between the human and divine. The best place to see this is at a Shinto shrine. As you approach, you'll notice the torii gates painted a brilliant vermilion. They rise like guardians, marking the border between the ordinary world and the sacred space within. Step through one, and it feels like crossing into another realm. The red color of the gates isn't chosen for beauty alone. It's believed to protect against evil and misfortune. In ancient times, the paint used on these gates contained mercury, which literally helped preserve the wood, but symbolically, it preserved purity. Everywhere you turn in Japan's spiritual landscape, red stands as a symbol of life's energy, what the Japanese call ki. It flows through everything, the earth, the air, and the human body. Red helps channel that energy, reminding people of their vitality and the need to stay in harmony with nature and spirit alike. During festivals, this sacred energy bursts into joyful motion. Dancers wear red ribbons, children's cheeks are painted rosy, and drums wrapped in red cloth thunder through the streets. Red paper lanterns sway above food stalls, casting a warm, protective light over the crowd. It's as if the whole town glows with life itself. Red here doesn't just symbolize celebration, it creates it. But the Japanese relationship with red isn't limited to temples or festivals. It also lives in art, design, and emotion. Traditional kimono fabrics, for example, often feature subtle crimson linings or threads, hidden from plain sight, but meant to bring warmth and luck to the wearer. In Japanese culture, true elegance isn't about showing everything, it's about knowing what lies beneath. A hint of red in a kimono's sleeve or obi sash carries quiet confidence, a whisper of passion beneath calm composure. This balance between restraint and intensity defines Japan's cultural understanding of red. It's not chaotic, it's controlled. In Buddhist art, red often appears alongside gold and black to represent wisdom and compassion. The Buddha's robes themselves were dyed in earthy reds and oranges, colors of humility and spiritual focus. Even the Japanese flag, simple yet profound, reflects this philosophy. A red circle against a white background, symbolizing the rising sun and the balance between purity and energy. In everyday life, red continues to bridge emotion and meaning. Lovers exchange red cords as symbols of fate, the invisible red thread of destiny, said to tie two souls together no matter how far apart they are. Parents give red amulets to children for protection. And when Japan celebrates victory, whether in sports, art, or politics, red confetti rains down like blessings from the heavens. So, while red in Japan may seem quiet compared to the bold reds of China or India, its depth runs far deeper. It is the color of life's pulse, steady and sacred. It reminds people not only of the sun that rises each morning, but of the warmth that connects every heart beneath it. To the Japanese, red isn't just power, it's peace through strength. It is both shield and flame, guiding spirit and tender heart. A color that protects, inspires, and endures. Chapter 6. India and Southeast Asia. Red as life and sacred fire. If China gave red its luck, and Japan gave it grace, then India gave it soul. Nowhere else does red carry such a mix of emotion, ritual, and sacred meaning as it does in the Indian subcontinent and the lands of Southeast Asia. In this part of the world, red is life literally and spiritually. It is the color of marriage, birth, devotion, and the divine fire that sustains existence. In India, red begins its journey at birth. When a child is born, elders mark the occasion with red, the mother's wrists jingling with red bangles, the baby's forehead dotted with a crimson tilak made from sandalwood and vermilion. It's a blessing, a protection, a silent prayer whispered through color. From that very first moment, red becomes a companion through every stage of life. But red's true power shines during weddings. Indian brides wear bright red saris, or lehengas, adorned with gold, embroidery, and shimmering jewels. The color isn't chosen for fashion, it's chosen for meaning. Red represents fertility, strength, love, and prosperity. When a bride steps into her new life wearing red, she carries with her the blessings of the goddess Durga, who embodies courage and divine feminine energy. Her lips are painted red, her hands dyed with henna, her forehead adorned with a sindor, a line of red powder that marks her as a married woman. In that moment, she doesn't just look beautiful, she becomes sacred. In temples across India and Nepal, red is offered to the gods in every form imaginable. Flowers, powders, cloth, and light. Devotees scatter red petals at the feet of deities, smear vermilion on their foreheads, and tie red threads on their wrists or around sacred trees to seal vows and prayers. For Hindus, red is the color of Agni, the fire god, who witnesses every ritual and every promise. In fact, in nearly every Hindu ceremony, from weddings to funerals, fire burns at the center, its glow reflected in the red hues surrounding it. Here, red and fire are one and the same: life, passion, and transformation. In Buddhism, which spread from India throughout Southeast Asia, red carries a slightly different, yet connected meaning. It represents compassion and vitality, the energy of the heart. Monks in Tibet and Myanmar wear deep red or saffron robes, symbolizing renunciation of worldly desires, but also the warmth of enlightenment. Their robes, dyed with natural pigments, remind them of the sacred fire within the fire of awareness, mindfulness, and compassion for all beings. Travel farther east, into Thailand, Cambodia, and Indonesia, and you'll see red woven into festivals and folklore. In Thailand, red is associated with Sunday and the sun god Surya, a day of vitality and courage. In Bali, offerings of red flowers are made to gods of strength and protection. And in Cambodia, ancient royal palaces used red stones to symbolize divine power and prosperity. Even in modern times, red continues to define Southeast Asia's celebrations. During Lunar New Year in Vietnam, houses are decorated with red calligraphy to invite happiness. In Thailand's Songkran festival, red flags wave in the heat, marking renewal and cleansing. Across this vast region, red connects people not just to their heritage, but to one another, reminding them of the same sacred truth, that life, like fire, burns brightest when shared. In the Indian and Southeast Asian heart, red isn't just a color. It's a pulse, a rhythm of birth, love, and devotion that echoes through generations. It tells the story of humanity's oldest desires: to be seen, to be blessed, and to live fully. In every spark of red, there is spirit, and in every spirit, there is red. Chapter 7. Red in Modern Asia. Between Tradition and Identity. Today, as Asia surges forward into the digital age filled with skyscrapers, smartphones, and neon skylines, the color red continues to hold its ground. It hasn't faded into the past or lost its meaning. If anything, red has evolved, balancing between the roots of tradition and the pulse of modern identity. Walk through any Asian city, Tokyo, Shanghai, Bangkok, or Seoul, and you'll see it everywhere. In glowing signs that light up streets after dusk, in the logos of massive corporations, in the threads of designer clothing that mix ancient motifs with contemporary style. Red, once confined to rituals and ceremonies, now thrives in technology, fashion, and even politics. But its heart? It's still the same. In modern China, red dominates public life. It's the color of national pride, unity, and power. The red flag with 5 golden stars is instantly recognizable, a symbol that binds over 1 billion people together. During national holidays, entire streets are draped in red banners. Fireworks burst in crimson sparks, and social media platforms bloom with red icons and greetings. Even in business, red is the go-to color for success, used in everything from packaging to branding. Chinese companies like Huawei, Haier, and Alibaba incorporate shades of red to signal confidence and prosperity, blending tradition with global ambition. In Japan, red still carries its ancient calm, but has found new ways to express it. The red sun remains at the center of the national flag, a symbol of light, strength, and renewal. But beyond symbolism, you'll find red in design, from minimalist architecture to pop culture icons. Think of the red circle in Japan's flag mirrored in company logos like Canon or Nintendo. Even in fashion, modern Japanese designers use subtle hints of red to represent individuality and inner fire. The color acts like a bridge between the serene world of tradition and the high-energy realm of innovation. Across South Korea, Thailand, and Vietnam, red has also adapted to modern values. In Korea, red once symbolized danger and war, but over time, its meaning softened, taking on associations of passion, vitality, and love. Red is now common in K-pop music videos, streetwear, and even tech design, an emblem of energy and emotion. In Thailand, red continues to represent Sunday, courage, and loyalty. And in Vietnam, the red flag with a yellow star remains a proud marker of independence and revolution, its color carrying the same life force that inspired generations. In India and Southeast Asia, red continues to be both sacred and stylish. Indian weddings may now include modern gowns and pastel tones, but red never leaves the scene. It remains the color of blessings and beginnings. In cities like Mumbai and Delhi, red threads its way through film posters, temple garlands, and even political rallies. Meanwhile, in Singapore and Malaysia, red has become part of multicultural identity. During Chinese New Year, Deepavali, and Hari Raya, red unites communities of different faiths and histories, creating shared moments of celebration. Even in digital spaces, red continues to dominate Asia's emotional language. On apps, red hearts and emojis convey love, excitement, and luck. On social media, red banners flood screens during major holidays. And in advertising, brands use red because it still triggers the same instinct it did centuries ago: attention, warmth, and trust. Yet beneath all these transformations, the meaning of red remains rooted in what it has always stood for: life, the pulse of humanity, the spark of courage, the comfort of warmth. Whether it glows from a shrine candle or a smartphone screen, red continues to remind people of where they come from and what they stand for. It's fascinating how, in an age where so much has changed, Asia's most powerful color has not only survived, but grown stronger. Red isn't just tradition, it's transformation itself, a symbol of how Asia has carried its soul into the future without letting go of its past. In conclusion, when you look across the vast, diverse lands of Asia, from the temples of Kyoto to the bustling streets of Mumbai, one thing unites them all: the color red. It glows softly in lanterns during the New Year, shimmers on wedding garments, and radiates from flags waving in the wind. Red is not just seen here, it's felt. It's the pulse of the continent, the warmth in its celebrations, and the fire in its spirit. For thousands of years, Asia has changed. Kingdoms have fallen. Empires have risen. Cultures have mixed. Languages have evolved, and technology has transformed how people live and connect. Yet, through all these shifts, red has remained constant, a timeless symbol of life, energy, and emotion. It's the bridge between old and new, sacred and modern, body and soul. In China, red is luck and prosperity. In Japan, it's purity and protection. In India, it's love and sacred fire. In Southeast Asia, it's renewal and vitality. Each region has its own story to tell, but they all share one truth. Red holds meaning because it speaks to something universal: the human heart. Think about it. Every culture in Asia has found its own way to honor this color, to shape it into a mirror of their values and beliefs. Whether it's painted on a temple gate, wrapped around a bride, or shining from a digital screen, red reminds people of what matters most: connection, courage, and continuity. It's the thread that ties generations together, a color that says, we are alive, we endure. Even science seems to agree. Red is the first color the human eye detects after birth. It's associated with energy, warmth, and life itself. Perhaps that's why it resonates so deeply. It touches something primal in us, something older than memory. It's the same across Asia. Red doesn't just decorate life, it defines it. And as the modern world races ahead with steel, glass, and neon lights, Asia carries its red proudly, not as a relic of the past, but as a reminder of its soul. The color continues to evolve on fashion runways, national flags, smartphones, and social media screens, but its message stays the same. To be alive is to feel. to burn, to love. So the next time you see red, a lantern swaying in the evening breeze, a silk ribbon fluttering in the temple wind, or even a digital heart lighting up your phone, pause for a moment. You're looking at something that has traveled through time, faith, and culture, carrying the heartbeat of a continent. Because in the end, red doesn't just belong to Asia. It belongs to everyone who has ever felt the warmth of hope, the strength of passion, or the fire of the human spirit. If this story about red's power touched you, imagine how many more colors carry their own hidden meanings across Asia. So, tell us, what does red mean to you? Is it luck, love, or the spark of life itself? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you'd love to discover more untold stories behind Asia's traditions, colors, and cultures, don't forget to hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and join our growing community. Thanks for watching.